This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, Southern predators beware as a $100,000 grant hopes to help with eradication. A much-loved educator is retiring after many years at the helm of an Oamaru school. And the jolly guy in the red suit, yes, Santa, has arrived in Alexandria to the delight of children of all ages. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Sophie Morris. Plans to scale up predator-free Southland efforts have been bolstered by a $100,000 grant. The funding will go towards coordinating various community pest control groups.
Predators will feel even less welcome in Southland than before, thanks to a $100,000 grant from the government to the joint venture called Predator Free Southland.
We lose something like 25 million birds a year, and that's down to the rats, stoats and possums which are in our forests and on our farms. So predator-free is absolutely essential.
It's a daunting task to eliminate predators from New Zealand's forests and mountains, and Dave Burgess of Environment Southland says it's about small victories.
Predators here are quite widespread, albeit in various numbers throughout the region, but it's really a matter of looking for those little win areas where it will work, so that's one thing that we're working through. But the significance of getting rid of predators, it's tenfold in terms of the bird life that'll come back, things that you're going to save, just the bush canopy that'll be saved and flourish. So yeah, there's a whole range of benefits, and yeah, really looking forward to it. It does take a while to see some of those benefits, but you've got to start somewhere, and hopefully the pictures will develop.
The $100,000 will help a regional coordinator make sure various community and volunteer groups are working in the most effective and efficient way.
To have a coordinator sort of linking one group with another, so we're not all working in isolation, so sort of got a coordinated approach or strategic approach to pest management in Southland.
It's the 11th region to receive support from Predator Free 2050, and that may help the Southland venture benefit from what's been learned elsewhere.
I think what's useful about being 11th, and Alana and I have been talking a bit about this today, is that they've got the opportunity to learn lots of lessons from the other projects that we're already working with. And part of the way we choose is we come into communities when they're ready for us to be there to help them, and so we think that this project is at that point.
In Invercargill, the South Today.
More than 4 helicopters are fighting a rapidly spreading fire south of Dunedin this evening. 4 helicopters and ground crews are battling a blaze in Waipori Falls this afternoon. Fire and Emergency New Zealand spokesman said 50 hectares of tussock and scrub had caught fire near Waipori Falls Road about 1:20 p.m. 3 crews from Waihola, 1 crew from Outram and a Dunedin command unit were at the scene or on their way. 4 helicopters were also working to put it out. Henley resident Bree Thompson said she could see flames from her house, which is some distance from the blaze. The fire appeared to be growing quickly. Oamaru's intermediate school principal has retired after spending 13 years at the helm and is the lead principal in the community of learning Waitaki Ara Kahuiako. Mary Healy says creating an inclusive environment for every pupil has been her greatest achievement.
An emotional and warm farewell for a loved leader as Mary Healy retires from the principal's position at Oamaru Intermediate. Board of Trustees Chairwoman Rebecca O'Sullivan says there are 3 traits which sum up Mary Healy: kindness, sensitivity and a good sense of humour.
I was rereading Mary's appraisal yesterday, and the 3 words that resonated within me about Mary were kindness, sensitivity and good humour. These, I believe, are a big part of being a great leader. Mary, you have contributed so much to Oamaru Intermediate, the Kahuiako and the wider community. I know for myself, you have been an incredible mentor, and I could only imagine the huge impact you have had on others also. From the Board of Trustees, the staff and the wider community, thank you for everything, for being you and for being a truly inspirational leader.
Mary Healy has retired as Oamaru's Intermediate School Principal after spending 13 years at the helm. The board chair says Oamaru Intermediate's Deputy Principal, Rebecca Meek, has been appointed as the school's new principal and will take up the role in the new year. In the Oamaru, the South Today.
A person is in a serious condition and several others have minor injuries after a car hit a power pole in Brockville yesterday. The front of this white late model SUV was completely stoved in as a result of colliding with a power pole. A police spokeswoman said emergency services were called to Brockville Road between Ettrick Street and Charters Street about 3 p.m. 2 fire appliances and multiple police cars were at the scene. The road was blocked and traffic was diverted along Charters Street for a period of time. Mr. and Mrs. Claus visited Santaland in Cromwell last week and about 2,600 people turned out to see them. Santaland has been a Christmas fixture in the township for nearly 30 years and appeared at the Cromwell Presbyterian Church last week.
There's simply no ducking away from it for either the public or Santa this holiday season. The jolly large guy in the red suit is practically everywhere these days, including charming parents and children in Cromwell.
Santaland has grown to this size over the last 11 years in this venue, but there's been a grotto of sorts here for nearly 30 years.
Whether it was outside riding the Lions train on a glorious Central Otago day, or inside with snowy trees and flashing lights, the spirit of the season was evident to see. Bailey says the committee behind this annual event proves there's no I in team.
6 of us involved in setting it up, and then the toy library, the Cromwell Toy Library, help us in setting it up. It takes quite a number of hours. It's about like a week process to set it up.
This year's theme was Santa's favourite movies, including Harry Potter, Finding Nemo and more for children to choose from. Bailey says the events around Santaland aren't money-making ventures and are more about entertaining families.
All money goes back into it. We pay the toy library for all the volunteers because they help set it up, run it and pack it up. And then we pay our costs and then the rest just goes all back into next year.
This year Santaland was run in the Cromwell Presbyterian Church Hall between December the 10th and 13th. In Cromwell, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, if all you want for Christmas is your 2 front teeth, you're in luck thanks to the dental school. And Palmerston gets a new charger for electric vehicles.
I am in the middle of George Street, corner of Hanover and George. Come and see what I get in here. This is where I go shopping. So look what I can choose from in here. It's fantastic. Knitwear, flash shirts. Look at those flash shirts. Trousers, jeans, pullovers. Oh look, they've got some hoodies. I love hoodies.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
But my friend Lindsay, he says this store's only here till January the 10th, so I better dash. See you later.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, You owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
For over 100 years, Presbyterian Support has been helping people in your region through all conditions, ages and stages of life. Our Enliven and Family Work services are always there when you need them. People in your community are facing unprecedented challenges and they need your help. By making a donation to your local Presbyterian Support in South Canterbury, Otago or Southland, you'll be helping us to help people where you live. Together we can make a difference. We are people helping people.
You sure you can handle? Okay. We can take my lamb. Okay. I'll put on a tight shirt. Okay. You sure you can handle? Okay. We be faster than Django. Can't stop, can't stop, can't stop, can't stop, can't stop, can't
stop. Welcome back. Aurora Energy is set to carry out a formal investigation after a spate of power cuts in a Dunedin suburb continued at the weekend, leaving a popular restaurant in the lurch once again. The lines company says it will investigate a spate of recent outages. An outage on Saturday led to a booking of more than 50 people walking out of the VILLAGEGREEN cafe and bar. Owners Darren Bizette and Nicola Chisholm say it was the 7th time since October they'd had an outage while trying to serve customers, and losing patronage of 590 people could have cost them around $5,000. Aurora say they will get to the bottom of what's causing the frequent power cuts. If all you want for Christmas is your 2 front teeth and the rest of them, the University of Otago Dental School has a deal for you. A change in the teaching program next year means the school urgently needs to find between 40 and 50 people who require a new full set of dentures. The false teeth will be manufactured by students under close supervision as part of their coursework. The school is offering dentures at $395 for one jaw and $790 for both, and say private surgery can cost up to 3 times that. Oral rehabilitation lecturer Professor Carl Lyons expects most patients will be elderly. He says it will be really valuable for students to learn how to question patients, and that the patients often value the interaction as well. A new electric vehicle charger has opened in Palmerston after being announced in February. Filling a hole in the network, it's set to provide EV owners with older cars an extra bit of juice.
They've got the power. EV owners are rejoicing after a new fast charger began delivering much needed voltage in Palmerston this week. Local EV owner Peter Dowden says it will make the trip to Ranfurly a lot easier for him.
In my new electric car here, it's got one of the smaller batteries of any electric cars, and I once again tried to get to Hamden but really just about didn't make it, and that was pretty stressful, so it's a big bonus to have this charger here in Palmerston.
The gap in the network was affecting older EVs, and previously the nearest charger north of Dunedin was Hampton, meaning some EV drivers had to charge there and backtrack to Palmerston before heading inland towards Ranfurly. ChargeNet says this charger in Palmerston has been a long time coming, and we're very excited that this charger is now up and running. The location of this charger will make travelling the east coast of the South Island just that little bit easier. How many South Island Leaf owners will be doing a happy dance today? 3rd time's a charm for the Dunedin EV Owners Group. Their request for the station was granted by the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Authority as part of round 7 of its Low Emission Vehicles Contestable Fund. In Palmerston, the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, we check out the month that was June, and we check out tomorrow's weather.
Step into Shop on Carroll and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Welcome to Alex Campbell Menswear. Our 3 stores have no shortage of stock. Check these out. We've got the Dunedin print t-shirts. Check out our zillions of short sleeve shirts. These are crackers. They iron themselves in the wash. Iron cheetah they're called. And there's some really cool polo shirts. Look at all the bright colours. And of course there's no shortage of shorts. This is always one of our brightest corners. Our long sleeve fashion shirts. Jeans, casual trousers, dress trousers, you name it, we have you covered.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So if you're shopping for your family or yourself, come and see Alex Campbell Menswear stores. We're full of stock.
Do PVC windows and doors. PVC is 90% more efficient than standard aluminium and 60% more efficient than thermally broken aluminium. It's multi-chambered, you don't get any condensation through the frame. And if you put decent glass in, you get a big difference to aluminium.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Here I am in the middle of George Street, corner of Hanover and George. Come and see what I get in here. This is where I go shopping. So look what I can choose from in here. It's fantastic. Knitwear, flash shirts. Look at those flash shirts. Trousers, jeans, pullovers. Oh look, they've got some hoodies. I love hoodies.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
But my friend Lindsay, he says this store's only here till January the 10th, so I better dash. See you later.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Ah, TV, our favourite babysitter. But it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh! Plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
Lord, 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 hear it more. Don't you hear Jerusalem, oh, don't you hear Jerusalem, oh. Bring the man he used to be back. My armor already cut to the bone. Don't you dare take that country at me.
Welcome back. Protesters made their voices heard in Dunedin during June. One protest march was about the closure of a local tourist train and another was themed on Black Lives Matter.
The man who stabbed a miniature horse in February, resulting in the animal dying, was sentenced in the Dunedin District Court. Reginald Robert Ozane was jailed for 2.5 years for willfully ill-treating an animal. Tairi Gorge rail workers marched through Dunedin streets to deliver a letter to the Mayor, saying the tourist railway and over 50 jobs could be saved if other options were pursued.
Realise that the Board of Dunedin Railways has reacted with zero vision and zero ideas, and so our supporters here and ourselves have done their job for them and come up with several alternatives which will keep this railways going.
In the end, tourist rail journeys are now scheduled to operate from the end of December until the end of March. About 250 protesters marched down Dunedin's George Street to make their voices heard. Protester TJ Zimba said he was tired of daily scenes of racism in New Zealand and around the world.
I'm just tired, tired of the daily racism I experience weekly, every day, and I'm tired of seeing the things I'm seeing every morning in other countries. Like, it's not just New Zealand, and it's not just America, it's wherever like people of colour are at, we experience things like this.
And after a break due to COVID-19, work continued on replacing all of Dunedin's 15,000 street lamps with new LED lighting. It was taking 3 workers about half an hour to change a light bulb, with all hopefully replaced by mid-next year.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. Southern predators beware as a $100,000 grant hopes to help with eradication. A much-loved educator is retiring after many years at the helm of an Oamaru school. And the jolly guy in the red suit, yes, Santa Claus, has arrived in Alexandria to the delight of children of all ages. And now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Hayden.
Hi, Sophie, and
Good
welcome
evening.
back.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
You
Yeah, it's
too.
a bit of big news day today. We'll start with drugs, I suppose. There's no way to ease into it. Queenstown, centred around Queenstown. It's today been labelled the ecstasy capital of New Zealand, which I'm not sure is a title that many towns would aspire to.
No.
Big drug bust this week in Queenstown and around New Zealand, in fact, as part of a national crackdown. A ton of stuff has been found, including some stuff laced with MCAT, which for those who don't know is a very, very nasty drug. It was quite big in the UK years ago, could cause death. Some really nasty, serious stuff going around. So that's our lead story tomorrow. And speaking of getting high in that part of the world, there's an interesting colour story from Wanaka. Investors are hoping to get a jumbo jet, a Boeing 747-400, to rescue a jumbo jet basically. It's destined for the scrapyard. They want to get it, bring it to New Zealand, set it up in Wanaka as a boutique hotel.
Oh wow.
So quite interesting. There's a couple of interesting photos of where it's been done elsewhere in the world. I think the Netherlands has got one, maybe somewhere in the United States. And the plane is literally turned into a boutique hotel. So interesting yarn.
Right.
Graduation that isn't graduation, so obviously an ongoing story and it just doesn't end. It's still been incredibly busy on campus, which in one respect is quite nice to see. You know, the students are still celebrating the fact they've got their degrees or their diplomas, which is marvellous. And the people who deal with the regalia, the gowns and hats and so on, are saying 90% of people are still picking up their gowns and their hats, showing that those students do really want to celebrate their achievements despite no actual graduation, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah, good on them.
And in sport, we've got a yarn with Dean Foxcroft. So Dean is our Otago cricketer, very promising cricketer, had a great summer last summer. He's been stuck back in South Africa during the pandemic. Still can't come back to New Zealand, hasn't been allowed back in, so Adrian Ciccone, a cricket writer, has had a bit of a catch up with him to see how he's going, biding his time and keeping match fit for the day that hopefully he can come back and play cricket for Otago. So all of that and all sorts of other interesting bits and pieces
Great,
tomorrow.
thank you, Hayden. And time now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with the southern view, looking towards Otago Harbour from outside Dunedin's Edgar Centre. Beginning with the situation, cool southwesterly winds will die out tomorrow with cloud clearing from most areas during the day, but some may remain on the Otago coast. Some rain likely early to mid next week, but early indications are for a fine Christmas day. To the southern towns, light winds and fine conditions with 15 degrees in the Catlins and 16 in Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore. To the Central Lakes, light winds and fine conditions here as well with 18 degrees in Queenstown, Wanaka and Alexandra and 16 in Te Anau. To the northern towns, light winds and cloudy on the coast with 17 degrees in Timaru and 16 in Oamaru. Inland, light winds, fine conditions and 19 degrees for both Twizel and Amarama. In Dunedin, showers tonight with cooler southwesterlies and a low of 10 degrees. Any early showers tomorrow will clear quickly, but it will be cloudy and cooler with moderate southwest winds dying out. A high of 14 and a low of 9. Mostly cloudy on Friday but milder with moderate northeasterlies, a high of 18 and a low of 11. And in Invercargill, showers tonight with cold southerlies and a low of 12. Cloud clearing and weather becoming fine and sunny later tomorrow with light winds, a high of 15 and a low of 7. Milder on Friday with sunny periods and high cloud with moderate northerlies, a high of 19 and a low of 11. That's all for our news this Wednesday. For the latest news from the Southern region, head online to odt.co.nz or follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.